That's so
Hello, everybody! And welcome to the Diaries. That's where we are. Yeah, well, this week, this episode is full of some things. It's full of this thing, it's full of that thing. It's full of food. It's full of props. And it's full of, well, never mind that part, but it's got a lot of stuff going on, and mostly it's going to be about something really special, which is, as you know, at Disneyland, one of my favorite things to do is to eat, well, it's my favorite thing to do in a lot of places, but is to eat the New Orleans Square style gumbo. Greatest stuff in the world. It is awesome. It is ambrosia. When the gods of Olympus run out of pizza, they get this gumbo. Stole that line from something. Anyway, well, we're going to make it. I'm going to show you how to make it. And I'm going to find out if I did it right at the same time you do. So, yeah, that's on there. Also, as you know, Yavapai College for Kids. I am teaching out there. I have 2 classes with 8 kids in each class, apparently. Kind of small for the classes, but it's divided because I don't know why, because the new guy decided to do that. So for 4 weeks I'll be out there, and I'm doing a Monday, Wednesday class and a Tuesday, Thursday class. So anyway, we have to take care of that flower prop I've been talking about an awful lot, the plant. So that'll be on here too. And there might be something else. I'm sure there is, but I can't remember what it was. I guess we'll all find out together. So, to keep this one brief and to the point, yeah, I can do that from the side of the school. Brief and to the point, or to put it another way, without any further ado, let's get going. Well, the time that none of us have been waiting for has come. I've got to build the flower head. Now, as a general rule, I enjoy building these things, but I've made so many of these heads that it's, you know, becoming kind of like repetitive. But this one's going to be a little bit different because I have a bag. Because I'm going to use some springs to bring the mouth closed. So when the person's sliding through, what we want is to sit in the flower head. Obviously, it doesn't have a tough jaw and he doesn't crunch, crunch, crunch. So he's going to be kind of a slurper, like spaghetti noodles. Only the spaghetti is going to be the different people in the film. So I want the head to be able to secure down without me having to hold it down. Consequently, I have more control over the head itself on the table. When the people slide through and they go through the hole, I won't have to worry about, you know, moving the head and then shifting the position so they can get through there easier. All I have to concentrate on is shifting the position. So, and I'm using bigger hinges this time. So, basically, I probably, if history repeats itself, I most likely do not have enough connectors, elbows, corners, or tees to do all this. But we'll get it started because today is Wednesday, the 9th of May, and I have to work tonight. So I'm going to work on this today, and tomorrow, Thursday, I have the day off, the morning off, which I didn't ask for, and I'm really not thrilled about, but hey, it is what it is. So I'll work on it again tomorrow, and then Friday, I don't go to work till 7 in the evening, so I'll have the entire day, and then I got This weekend we're supposed to have a read-through for Knights of the Lost Realm. I guess maybe I should tell everybody that. And then I'll have most of the day Saturday, all of the day Sunday, and we should be able to get this done this weekend. Hopefully I can get it done before this weekend, but knowing me, probably not. I mean, I don't even have my bench right. Now it is. Hey, Bill. We got the Wizard playing in the background. My computer is being updated with the newest version of Windows 10, which I'm sure will make most of everything I have inoperable. And now I have these, which I've just put together. These are the end pieces where the hinges go. And now I have to take this drill. There you go, the right direction. And put these holes in for the screws to go through. Okay, I have these two pieces set in this groove in the table right here, so I know that they're lined up. Because the last couple of heads that I put together, the first head, the one that got stolen out of my car, I don't know why. It was, never had a problem with the hinges, it was right on the money. The second two, I don't know what I did something kind of messy, I guess, with the hinges, and they weren't centered properly. They moved left and right, and eventually they tore right at the hinge joint. So what we want to do is we want to get this, when it closes, these two end pieces match up, you know, one right on top of the other. Ta-da! These hinges are not the greatest in the world, but they'll suit for this. So I gotta do that one more time. Okay, so, ta-da! So if we put them together, they open fairly easily. Not really super easily, but it'll be easier when the handle to open it is up here, because I have more leverage. But I just want to make sure it doesn't tug too hard on the hinges. And it does that too. It doesn't tug too hard on the hinges. And pull them to one side. And it doesn't look like it. Looks like it's pretty good. This one here, you know what? I'm going to tighten that one down. Just to be on the safe side. Well, if you want to know what stupid looks like, look right here. That? No, not over there. Over here. Right here. You see, as you know, I work 75 different jobs. Well, the two main ones, it's two different bowling centers. Well, at one bowling center, we had some situations come up where my hours got cut down for 2 weeks. And they're coming back, but right now they were cut down for 2 weeks. And I've been pissing and moaning, oh my God, I don't have money, I'm not going to have money, blah, blah, blah. Well, my other job, it would appear that on one day, I forgot to punch out. So consequently, I didn't get paid for that. So, see, this is stupid, where you know that you're going to be tight on money for the month, and then you do something, you yourself go out and do something to make it worse. Fortunately, My boss at the other job, well, my boss at both jobs are pretty good people. My boss at the other job is cutting me a check right now so I can go out and get it. So I'm driving all the way out, and this is the one that's, an hour and 45 minutes depending upon which day of the week you go and what time of the day. It should take me about 25 minutes to get there. So, yeah. So stupid! Stupid is as stupid does, and I did stupid, and that means I is stupid. At least I was on that particular instance. The head skeletal structure thing is finished. You can see it opens and it closes pretty much on its own. Now, obviously we do not want our plant to be shaped exactly like this. This is the basic skeletal structure for it. However, what I had planned to do was to use like chicken wire and go over it and kind of round it up. It'd probably be about this much taller, but it would be more rounded and everything. Actually, I might cut this down a little bit, make it a little bit shorter. But in any case, so I went down to get some chicken wire, and boy, things should have sure changed. When I was a children, you could get chicken wire, just, lengths of chicken wire, just that you whatever size you need for what you're doing. Nowadays, you have to buy it in a roll of about 970 feet. I don't need 970 feet. I need about 5 feet. So, and it, it costs $47,000. So I figured that's probably not the route to go. So since this is for a project, the school project, and it's, I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't know how long I'm going to need it. I figured I'd just use cardboard. Just get some cardboard and put it up there, and then I'll cover that. But I do think that the head might be a little too high, this part. Well, maybe not. I don't know. It's a weird looking flower. We'll see once it's covered. Yay. Well, it's about 4:30 in the afternoon, and whereas I could work on the plant a little bit more, I actually want to do some other stuff that I need to do today, like my dishes and stuff like that. But I made a monumental decision while I was out there working on that there plant, there flower thing, and I decided that I don't really want it to look. Well, there's two things I don't want it to look like. First of all, I don't want it to look sentient. I don't want it to look like it's aware or anything like that. I want it to look like when it starts behaving the way it behaves, it's behaving more on impulse, more on just behavioral than on a conscious effort to do horrible things. So I'm going to try not to give it much in the way of a face. Matter of fact, I'm going to give it nothing in the way of the face. But another thing that I've decided, I'm kicking a sandbag over here that doesn't want to move. Ow. But the other thing I decided is, instead of making him a dark green, I'm going to make him a bright color. And I have a lot of this red, it's an old red sheet actually. It's a, why anyone wants a red bed sheet is beyond me. But it's a red sheet that I used a little tiny piece of like years ago, and I forgot I still had it. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to get some yellow material, and I'm going to make it like more of a bright flowery thing. And I have some fake sunflowers out there, which I'm going to kind of put around it, and more brightly colors around it. And then the greenery will basically go around the outside, the back part of the head of the pod. So it will kind of, well, for one thing, it'll serve two purposes. It'll cover the back end of the pod where the puppeteer operates it and puts it on the table, and it'll also give it a little bit more fullness so it doesn't look quite so square. So this is the thing. I have a 3-day weekend. Now Saturday I have to film. Okay, that's fine. It's going to take a few hours out of my day. Sunday and Monday I will have time to work on this. Now I got to get the material though before Sunday, because I get it at the lobby, and Hobby Lobby is closed on Sunday. So I'm going to have to get it either today or tomorrow. And I might get it today. Yeah, I might get it today. Who knows? So that's the situation with the flour thing. You know, I might have it done in this episode. I need to get it done pretty quick because school starts really soon. Well, my hair is pulled back and I'm not on the porch. And that sounded like the beginning of a poem, didn't it? No. Today is a very important day. Today is the day when I attempt to make chicken gumbo made using the recipe that's used in New Orleans Square at Disneyland, the Blue Bayou Lagoon restaurant. Best gumbo in the world is in New Orleans Square at Disneyland, which you have probably seen me make comments about on the road trip video from last year when we went to Disneyland, and I was talking about, well, there was a gumbo yaya from one place and then the New Orleans Square style gumbo. And I'm a big fan of gumbo. I love it. And I've always loved the New Orleans Square gumbo. And actually, if you go to New Orleans Square, when you go to Disneyland, there's two things that ring true and stay in your mind through the entire trip. One is the smell of Pirates of the Caribbean, and the other is the gumbo in New Orleans Square. Now, the smell is caused because at Disneyland they use a different type of water filtration system, as well as a different type of the stuff they use to keep the water clean, rather than chlorine, which would make most of the water rides there smell like a swimming pool, which you may have noticed in some other places that have water rides. At Disneyland they use a different chemical, and I'll tell you what it is later because I got to relook it up. But so that specific smell of Pirates of the Caribbean, everybody goes, and oh yeah, that's the smell I want to take home. That's the smell I want to be able to smell when I can. And then there's the New Orleans style gumbo, which is the greatest stuff in the world. Now, I got the recipe while at Disneyland. I got it, you can get the recipes, most of the recipes for the food there on Main Street in the information building, which is right next door to the firehouse, the City Hall. And you can get, oh, the AC went on, how about that? You can get the recipes there, and by Jiminy, that's where I got this one. So this should be pretty accurate. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to take you through it. So if you're a big fan of the New Orleans Square, if you're a big fan of New Orleans Square gumbo, here's how you're supposed to make it. And I'll post it if it comes out right. Alright, here we are in Darkslade Manor Kitchen. And remember about a year ago I said I was going to theme this out. Well, that hasn't happened yet. It will happen, but it hasn't happened yet. But that's not why we're here. We're here today because we're going to make Blue Bayou Gumbo. Now, I have made gumbo before. I've made, generic stuff. I've made packaged stuff that I've spiced up and so forth. But this is from the ground up gumbo I'm going to make. And hopefully it's going to be just like the New Orleans Square gumbo, because that's the recipe I'm using. Now, like all things that are wonderful to the taste buds, this is one of those items that requires a lot of preparation. It isn't something you throw in the pan, coat on, put the cover on, and 20 minutes later you have food. No. This requires quite a bit of preparation. I had to prepare my chicken, I had to prepare my andouille sausage, and I had to prepare my onions and celery and all that kind of stuff. Yes, this has onions and celery in it. I am not a big fan of that kind of thing being cooked into food. However, onions I have learned to like, and celery, hey, it's in there, and I'm going to make sure that I follow this thing to the letter. So, if I just take the celery out because I don't like the celery, cooked celery, well, there might be something about the celery that changes the flavor. So, I'm going to do this. You want to see how far I'm going to this? Check this out. Okra. Cut okra. Let me tell you something about okra. Okra is terrible. This is the worst vegetable that we ever decided needed to be eaten. They say that the smartest man, or I'm not sorry, not the smartest, but the bravest man in the world was the first person ever to eat an egg. Okay? I think the stupidest person in the world was the first person to cut up, cook, and eat okra and say, wow, that's good. That's really good. Because it isn't. Now, okra is in this recipe because okra is kind of like an emulsifier. It's a thickening agent. And the New Orleans square gumbo is not watery soupy. It is thick. So, apparently, this is what we need to make it thick. And I recall when I eat gumbo at New Orleans Square that I come across these little things. Oh, those are weird looking vegetables. I wonder what they are. Well, it turned out they're okra. And I guess I'm glad I only ate one and then pushed it to the side. And I can do that with these too. But I needed to make the food. So, I guess, let's take a deep breath. Here we go. What I need is 1 cup, bent finger truth is on this side. 1 cup, well, we'll use the slightly straighter finger of possibilities. Anyway, 1 cup of diced or sliced or jammed up celery and 1 cup onion. Now, like I said, I like celery. I just don't like cooked celery, kind of like carrots. I told you before, I don't mind raw carrots. I do not like cooked carrots. But the problem is, because of my tooth issue, I can't really eat celery too well anymore. So I don't get it very often. This pork cutting board has some better days, and it's sliding around all over the place. Darn accurate, wasn't it? Worm's eye. Okay. Those are celery. Generally, I use minced onion that you buy in a bottle, but I'd have to get like 15 bottles to do it. Now, this old device I've had since I moved to Arizona, so this thing is like 20 years old. This is, I think, the 3rd time I've used it. I don't know why I brought that up like that. Okay. So here's our cup of diced onion, and here's our cup of diced celery. Okay, next step is we have to prepare the chicken and the andouille sausage. Fresh andouille sausage. Chicken breasts, boneless, skinless chicken breasts. Dang, those are big. Those are also mostly frozen. I think I better defrost those first. I'd rather use a grill, but this is the way we're going to do it right now. Alright. that on the side. Oh, it's falling everywhere. Okay, so we have our newly sausage. Okay, we got the sausage ready. Just need to get the chicken ready. And then we'll be already ready. And then we can start the actual preparation of the dish. I made put a lot of chicken in here. A lot more than I think I requested. What did it say? No, it's about right. 2 or 3 cooked chicken breasts. And about, well, I got about 1.5 cups, maybe 2 cups of andouille sausage, so we're good. Now you can substitute steak or shrimp, depending upon what you want to make. If you want to make a seafood gumbo, obviously you put in shrimp. Beef gumbo is kind of weird, but you can do that too. I prefer the chicken. Now, one thing you should know about chicken, when you're browning chicken or when you're getting the chicken ready, this is going to be sitting in the gumbo for about an hour. So you want to try to get it as cooked through as you can. But if there is a little bit of pinkness in there, it's not going to be a big deal because that will get cooked out. But you want to try not to have any, if possible. Now we're not seasoning the chicken. We don't want to add any seasoning to anything. We're just going to keep that as it is. We're going to drain it. I can find my draining mitt. There it is. So let's drain this. And once it's drained, we're going to put it off to the side. Now you notice that I have water back here. Let's turn that burner down there, shall we? Because I have to have 2 quarts of chicken consomme or bouillon. So I got to get that ready as well. Now that doesn't have to be hot, but if you heat up the water before you add the bouillon to it, it is all easier. Now that the prep work is done, we have to start. The first thing we make is a roux, or as one of my good friends calls it, a roux. And a roux is basically, it's butter and flour, and it's a thickener. And we mix our vegetables with it, and it draws in all the flavors of the vegetables when we put it into our gumbo. It helps emulsify. Now, not quite as much as that okra is going to, but it's part of the process. So here we go. Okay, to make the roux we need a 1/4 cup of butter, or margarine in this case, Blue Bonnet, and we need a 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. And I have, I think, about a 1/4 cup of flour left. Now, that is sizzling a bit too much. We don't want to burn it. Our butter boiling. Great boiling buckets of butter. And we're going to take 1/4 cup of flour. And we are going to just dump it right in there. And then we're going to start stirring that around. And we want this to be kind of a caramel color when it's prepared. It should be a kind of a caramel color. It should not be burned. Celery. And the onions. Okay, we want this to cook for about 7 minutes. So we'll put our timer on for 7 minutes. And while this is doing its thing, we're going to make the chicken broth. Okay. Whew. This one is a bit of a chore. Okay, we've reached that moment. We take our vegetables in our roux and we add to it 4 cups of chicken broth. Then we need to add, believe it or not, I have to add salt. 1 tablespoon. So we add 1 tablespoon of salt. We add a little less than a tablespoon, low salt version. Okay. 1/4 teaspoon of what we're supposed to use ground white pepper. We're using black pepper, so I'm going to use a little bit less than 1/4 teaspoon. And I'll drop a fork on the floor while I'm at it. Alright. In there. Then we add 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Okay. We let that simmer for about 5 minutes. Okay, this has been simmering for the amount of time needed, so now we must add our sausage, our chicken, and last but certainly least, this crap cut open. Now it calls for, oh shush, I heard you the first time. It calls for 12 ounces of cut okra, and this is 12 ounces. And it even says frozen, and this is frozen. So it goes, whether I like it or not. Now we cook that for 1 hour. Low to medium heat for 1 hour. I'm assuming that's covered. So that will sit there and cook at medium for an hour. Then about half an hour prior to it being done, I will make the rice. This is kind of the important part of this whole thing. And we'll see what happens. Well, that was that part. Now we'll see if it's any good after it's done cooking for an hour. And how about let's do other things. This is sitting on the top here. And it looks very square. So when I put the stuffing, I'm going to put the stuffing. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to secure the front here. Then I'm going to put the stuffing from here all the way up to here. Then I will secure the sides and secure the back. So whereas it might be a little square this way, it's going to be rounded more this way. That's the plan. Let's see what happens. This is kind of rounded off, and it's smooshy. So I need to put the red in here. But I need to clip this around, and I'm trying to think of the best way to do it where it doesn't look too crinkly. Hey, well, we have the outside pretty much done. This needs to be trimmed, and then the inside will be put on. Okay, here's the flower head so far. It's almost to the point where I can do the fancy schmancy stuff to it. This down here, that looks all red. Okay, that bottom part, there's a pillow under there. So when they climb across it, it'll be a nice soft surface because there's a support right here. And then this is all open. And then there's a heavier piece of material hanging behind this so it doesn't flop out too far. So I still got to kind of put these corners up a bit. And that'll take care of the inside. This is not to be filmed from this side because this is where the puppeteer will operate it. So it can be shown from up front and it can be shown from the side. Then I have to make a bunch of these, which are leaves. And it'll go around the outside of this. Okay, so last night got out a bunch of these felt leaves for our prop. And the cool thing about using felt on felt is felt sticks to felt. So when I go to glue this on, I can pretty much set everything up and then have it kind of, you know, centered where I want it to go and then glue it down. Alright, here we go. Well, I had the baseball game turned down. It's playing over here on the speaker. And for the first time in about 2 months, the workbench is off of the Adventureland porch. So, how did the end result come out? This is the side that you will see. This to here and so forth. This is the operation side of it. Whew. So, the flower's done, the branches are done. Now I can finish up the folders. We're ready to go. Okay, here we go. Minute of truth. Moment of truth. That certainly smells right. Smells good. And I put that in the hot minute. It's the right consistency. The question is it the right flavor? Here we go. Going in for a taste. Right on the money. Oh, dang, that's good. That is the stuff that I jones for when we go to Disneyland. Let me try it again, make sure. Oh, y'all excuse me while I enjoy having on this for a little while. So, I think with that part completed, we will draw to an end on this episode. Next episode should have some visions from the classroom. See what's going on out there in the new location. We're going to be in the media room, so there should be plenty of media. I got no road trips planned because of the school, but I'll probably, since I'm going to take you with me, that'll constitute a road trip. And what else do we have? I have one film shoot coming up, so I might put some behind the scenes of that on the next episode. We will see. In the meantime, you guys have yourselves a great week. End of line.